I say another? I don't think there's been a one for a while. Oh, there's a fly in my room. I can see that there. That's irrelevant, but it's annoying. Right, there was an infestation of flies a little while back in the attic. There's an attic. I think something must have expired there. It is a dead whatever. Anyway, and the flies came around and then they went away because it got cold. But they've come back again. Hello, how are you? Again. Oh, I've been getting good side of the leprechauns. Yes. What leprechauns? Oh, because I'm going to Ireland. Not until next week. I am going to Ireland. Anyway, the flies are out. The flies are out. Hello, Philip. The flies are out in force. There was a really weird deformed one on my mattress yesterday. It didn't have any flies. It was a fly, but it didn't have any wings. You know what I mean? I think it was a fly. It's quite easy to catch. And I deposited it outside on the windowsill and I left it for a little while. I thought it's a little bit ill, but now it's free without its wings. But it'll be fine on the windowsill. But it wasn't, because the first thing it did was crawl into a little spider's web, and the tiniest spider came out to have a look, and then it went back, and then it waited, and then the fly thing that didn't have any wings, it looked like the one from the fly, it looked like a human thing, like a hybrid. It was very, very strange and very, very weird. It crawled into the spider's web, and that was the end of the thing, whatever it was, because about 10 minutes later I looked out and all that was there was a sort of clump. And I think that the spider will have a very big meal because it was about 100 times bigger than the spider. So that's very sad. So that was the fly. The end of the fly. Very, very end of the fly. That was the end of the fly. And I can see another one there. I want to let it out, but I have to go all over there and I'll be out of shot. So I'm just going to have a look at the fly because hundreds of them have been coming down. Flew and fly, landing on the windowsill where the light is. But they're quite easy to catch, even the ones that do actually have wings. So I've got this thing and I and then put a piece of paper in and sort of maneuver them into the outside world. And off they fly. Very, very big flies. To do whatever the flies do, because I don't want them here. They can go away from me, especially the one that crawled on my mattress. I was like, it was very, very strange. I'm not sure. It really did look like Jeff Goldblum. That's about the same size. A very big thing. And it didn't come to it came to a sticky end. No, was it buffering? Yes, buffering. So it was buffering. If it was buffering, it's probably my internet rather than yours because it's a little bit out of the internet zone. The internet zone in this room is here. It doesn't stretch as far as the back room. It sort of stops about where I am. So it's hit and miss. Very hit and miss. Anyway, this week I've been mainly playing stupid little games on my phone because I found this thing where you get paid for it, and I haven't actually got paid for it, so I don't know whether there's any legitimacy. I won't tell you what the game is or what the app is because I don't want them to benefit in any way. I'm hoping that I benefited, but you can go and find it for yourself if you want it. I suppose if I put a link up, they'd give me money, but I don't do that sort of thing. I should probably, because another thing I've been doing is I wanted to stand for councillor for Wales for Equity, the entertainment union, and they wanted me to find £750 worth of entertainment-y type stuff that I've done since 2022, and I was like, because I've done stuff, but catching the actual payments, awkward. Anyway, I spent the whole week trying to track down just about enough, I thought, because they said you have to prove it. And I'm like, I don't even know whether that's legitimate, because I've been making money from this sort of thing, not very much, but and other stuff. And I did the part of a maid in a friend's audio drama, and they gave me a very small amount of money. It was like, oh, I want to be fair and have the equity minimums, but what are they? And because I only did 4 lines, they're like, here's some stuff. And I did some teching and stage management work for another person's show. And also tracking down, because I've done my own show in Edinburgh, but it's been a sort of pay what you know, give me money afterwards. But I haven't forced the issue. Like I had a Stripe thing that you could just pay me, but there wasn't any internet. So not many people did that. I felt a few people went, oh, I can't do it. Oh, maybe I'll give you money later. And I'm like, and then there was money in the bucket as well, but I didn't keep track of it because I needed to pay for food and stuff, and it was just like in out. So it's very difficult to keep track of what I did just about, but I don't know whether it's any way legitimate enough. So that was fun. That was depressing. I was like, oh, that's not much to show for like 3 or 4 years worth of. Oh my goodness, that's just about scraping by. It's been a difficult few years. Oh, I'm looking in the forest. I went for wood. Did you see that the last rock thing I did with the actual big rock? Now I can overlook where that is, but I can't see it because the trees have grown up. And I should have known, because it used to be that where I used to live, you could see over and you could see the quarry. But I was like, oh, where's the quarry gone? There's just trees in the way. And I went close to it, and there were still trees in the way. I still didn't really see much of it, but I was just looking over, and I could sort of see glimpses through, and I can see a great big eagle or something flying over it. So that's very exciting. So yeah, is anybody talking to me? Nobody is. Better than buffering. Am I still buffering? Possibly. So that was interesting and depressing. So what I've been mainly doing this week is not very much. I'm panicking about my Edinburgh show, because it turns out that I was mentioned in the press release for the launch of all the shows. Because I think Happy Blessed Sunday, yes, for all the shows. I didn't realise it was on 2nd of April or something, and I didn't realise until last week, because I looked up, because I was trying to find whether my listing was up, and I did a search, and I was like, it's there, it's mentioned. They mentioned my show, and they didn't. There's like 2,000 shows, and they mentioned mine. It's just like, I think because it's in theatre, it benefited of being less lost in the mix. I would like people to come and see me, but then again, I have to write a show. So I've been like, no, what show shall I write? It shall have characters and poetry and maybe a few songs and maybe me, definitely me. And it's supposed to be theatrically, but it's probably not going to be that much theatrically. Maybe I'll do some dramatic dancing and expressionistic moves. Will it be no theatre? No. Will it be yes theatre? Yes, it will be yes theatre. Will it be Katakali dancing? Probably not. Will it be, because that's mainly men doing the dancing dressed as women. That some people came to my college and talked about it, because it's a tradition. Like that, it's completely male dancers, and they do there's female only theatre tradition as well in Goa or that sort of area, I think. And he was a specialist in doing the female dancing, and he had a translator who was also his wife, and she was explaining what he said, that it takes a man in order to get to the essence of woman. I was like, okay, so that's interesting, and probably maybe right, sort of looking from the inside in, I don't know, and that's got nothing to do with anything, but that was interesting, I think. That was interesting. So that's a sort of there's a lot of theatrical traditions of different genders playing different genders, and that's just theatre. That's theatre. So that I probably won't do that, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll resurrect Mike Twonk, and he shall be the. Because I had a dream. The reason that I invented. Do you remember Mike Twonk? The reason of Mike Twonk is I had a dream that I was on a chat show like Graham Norton or something, and I was explaining how Mike Twonk came to be and why I was very famous because of him. So I was like, well, I'd better make him so. Mike Twonk is the essence of why I'm successful. No, it isn't. Just, I did do him live in a very unsuccessful 2014 show, which shall be. Let's not go into that. That was not success. It was a bit of a disaster, but it wasn't really. It was circumstances and personality clashes. Let's call it that. And I'm. Yeah, that was a problem. So probably bad memories from that. Is anybody still here? Everybody's gone very quiet. Anyway, I shall do this show, and it shall have lots of things, and it shall be theatrical and funny, and it shall make you laugh and cry, or maybe not, and it shall be about 45 to 55 minutes long, so that's not too bad, because I've got a load of poems that I can stick into it, and I have to structure it. Structuring it is the thing, but I should do some characters. So if anybody wants to suggest which characters, or if you looked at any of my poetry videos, which poems you think would be good, because it's called Little Circus, so it's a sort of sort of retrospective of my life. So it'll be my life as seen through the lenses of other parts of me, characters and poetry and stuff like that. Ooh-wee. Anyway, that's fun. What a fun time. Anyway, this week, what has happened this week? Stuff and depressing stuff in the world, and the world has gone weird, and everybody should be more nice to each other, nicer to each other. More nicer. Everybody should be lovelier to each other. Anyway, Banshee Labyrinth, which is in Edinburgh, that is a great place, and they've got a toilet. They've got stalls toilets anybody can go into, and urinal toilets that anybody that wants to use a urinal. I think urinal is a very specific thing. So yeah, and then they've got an accessible toilet too. So that I think is a very good compromise, because you can use whichever one you want. That's good. So it's like, I shall go in this one. Why? Because this is the one I want to use, and I think that is the best thing for the whole of life. And if you disagree with me, then you're wrong. I mean, you're allowed to have your own opinion, but opinions are like the proverbial, aren't they? Which most people have got one of those, a proverbial, and that is related to something or other. Anyway, it's an issue. Peasants and rats. Maybe. Yes. I don't know. Maybe they have. Japanese have some amazing toys. Yes. Oh, they're all electronic and weird. Yes. My dad was saying the other day, we should get a bidet. And I heard something about how you're not allowed to actually, because the plumbing in Britain isn't set up to have bidets. And that's not because we're dirty or anything. It's because the plumbing. But yeah, because in France, I visited my relatives in France, and they had a bidet, because it's just standard in France. Although it used to be that the toilets in public places were just a hole in the floor for everybody. There's a hole in the floor. And I was suggesting to the people from the Banshee Labyrinth that if you want to have one with a hole in the floor, for anyone that objected to the other ones, then they could go in there and use the hole in the floor. That would be fun. A lovely hole in the floor. But bidets are a different thing. Anyway, why am I talking about bidets? Japanese toilets. We were talking about toilets. Toilets are interesting. Everybody's got toilets in their house these days. 100 years ago, they were outside if you were lucky. One for everyone. One for all. Because what? It's like, why did we think it necessary to have, I mean, then it's not like we're doing it out in the open. Why did we ever think it necessary? I mean, all you need is a locked door and the facilities there for whoever needs them, because you're not generally, unless there's specific circumstances. You're not generally going in there with other people. Really. I mean, there's the whole Mile High Club thing, but that's in the air, isn't it? Anyway, there's other issues. This is just, I'm making light of a serious situation. The serious situation is everybody's being horrible to each other, which is not a nice thing to do. Everyone's been horrible. And people in this country are like being voted in on the basis of, hey, we're horrible and we're horrible to people. Ha ha ha, hee hee hee. But it turns out that the horrible people that are voted in have got an agenda and an ulterior motive, and the being horrible is just the way that they slip in. It's like, hey, if I'm horrible enough, then I can get into power and then take all the money and gold for myself. That's reform. That's who I'm talking about there. So if you like reform, then I'm sorry that you're not one of my friends, because they are very horrible. Yes, they do not like people. They do not like people at all. So I'm sorry, I don't usually get political, but they are not great. They are not great. I don't know why that should be controversial. They're not great. So shame. Exactly. On the exactly. So yeah. So I mean, if you're following me or watching me, and you think that I'm in any shape or form a friend of reform, then sorry, no. If that little fly that's on my wall, fly in a wall, he's on the window actually, or she, it, I don't know. Oh, I don't think that they are chased, but I think that was an interesting suggestion. But I think probably not. I mean, legitimately they could, because the Commonwealth is territories that were at some point part of the British Empire, or pre-British Empire part of the, because the British Empire only existed from just after America was part of the, it was a colonial thing. The colonies, the colonies, the colonies. Colonies sounds like the colonies. So yeah, it was a colony. So I think you are legitimately allowed to, but I don't think that is something that US people in general. I mean, the whole thing. It was quite controversial, let's say. I don't know whether you want to go back, but if you do, then fine. Don't think this. I mean, the only thing the Commonwealth does is have a big sports event. Sports is really the only reason for the Commonwealth these days, and to go, well, hey, let's have a jamboree every now and then. Jamboree, a jam butty. Yeah. Yeah. Is there any other reason for the Commonwealth? I don't think there is. It's just so that people can have a slightly less. So it's not all of the world. So you're more likely to win a medal if you're in the Commonwealth. You are more likely to win a medal in the Commonwealth Games than if you're on the World Games, because there's more countries. So that's the reason for the Commonwealth Games. It's equality, diversity, and accessibility. So that's a good thing, and I'm not sure that that's what America really is looking for at the moment, because they seem to be sort of going the opposite way from that. Really, it's more of a chance. It's having a leg up and having more of a chance to win a medal. That's what the Commonwealth game is. Mainly for Britain. Everyone else in the Commonwealth is probably winning all the medals on the world stage. It's just the British people need a reason. But I think it's not really working. I don't think they're still. I think things like ice skating, they won a couple of medals about 30 years ago, and biking, they're quite good at biking, British athletes, and there's some good British athletes that do well, but maybe not as well as everyone else. But the world is a big place, and so athletics is a bigger place, smaller place, medium-sized place. Eurovision Song Contest, for instance, used to be one of the 5 main ones. We half invented part of the 5 original Eurovision Song Contests, and it's just the European countries plus Australia and Israel and Turkey sometimes. So mainly Europe, but some not Europe. And then because we were the big 5, so we're automatically in the finals. That's as far as it goes. Apparently, though, this year we're going to win or something. Not going to win. We're never going to win again. But we did win once or twice or 3 times. We did not win with Cliff Richard. Congratulations, Cliff Richard. I don't think you did win with that. You might have done. I don't think you did. And Puppet on a String. That did it. Boom, Bang, a Bang. Might not have won. I think is that Cloda Rogers? No. Boom, bang, a bang, boom, bang, a bang. Is that Lulu? Don't know where that one. And a bat just flew down. Maybe it was a bat the reason for the flies. A bat just flew right down, sort of like outside the window. Batman? I don't know. Anyway, this is interesting. Anyway, I'm going to let that fly out in a minute as soon as this is over, but I've got a little while to go. 8 minutes, and then I'll let the fly out, and the fly will fly, and the bat will hopefully not fly in the window as the fly flies. It's just nature red in tooth and claw, isn't it? It's just all very brutal. That poor fly, I think it was a fly. The thing is, it had like 6 legs that they were all sort of like, because it looked a bit like a spider and a bit like a beetle and a bit like a fly, and I think it was a fly because there's more other flies, more flies, but it didn't have the wings, you see. It didn't have the wings, and that's what threw me. Now, I don't know whether it would be injured and just, because I don't know how it got here without the wings, because they're coming from upstairs. So in order to have got down, it must have either crawled all the way and specifically made its way to my mattress, or it just fell from the ceiling, which is, I don't know what I think is worse, really. But it didn't last long, but that's not my fault. I tried to rescue it, and I did my best. I mean, once it's out in the world, and the spider got it, and it's not my fault. Well, I did feel a bit guilty, because I was like, oh, oops, not my fault. But I do feel bad about that. Yeah. So, you know, my mum is like, oh, we just smash the flies with a fly swatter. So I don't want to do that. 1, ew. And 2, ew. That's mainly it. It's going to create, because they're huge. And also, they're quite difficult to catch. Because even though they're quite slow, they're still faster than me. And also, I see that I just cut myself. I'm not doing very well today. That's what happened just before this. I brought the garden waste in for the green bin, which the collection is tomorrow, and that was great. But I had bought a net for the pond to have a look at newts and stuff, and it came, but the bamboo sort of handle was broken, and I tried to fix it by wrapping up with tape. But the whole thing apparently fell off. And I went outside and I got the net and I found some bamboo and I thought, oh, I can stick it on. So there's this rusty, horrible lump, really sharp bit of metal. And I thought, I'll stick it into the bamboo. But the bamboo sort of splintered and the rusty bit of metal went right through my finger. So I'm not good with that. I don't know how deep it is, but I mean it stopped quite quickly, but I mean I had to wash it and put Savlon antiseptic, and then I also put a load of antibacterial hand gel on it, and then I wrapped it up in plaster, which luckily I bought some plasters. So that's eventful for the last and then I went, oh no, I'll go make a video and talk about stupid flies and how I've got no money, even though I tried with the flies. But that's not really my fault either. Nothing's my fault. I'm sort of skirting controversial version, whatever, things that are controversial. Now, I think my take on all these controversial things is I don't hate anyone, and everyone should live their life. And if it's nothing to do with you, then you should mind your own business. And if it is something to do with you, then you should mind your own business. Because it's something to do with you, then it's yours. And if somebody else's, then it's not yours. And so you should mind your own business while you're doing your business. And that's it. And that's it. And people should be allowed to live and have a lovely time. And if you don't like it, because they're having a lovely time or having a slightly better time than you, or not as if they're not even having a nice time, but you're like, I want them to have a nice time, then that's on you. Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, that person might potentially thrive and have a great life and be happy and enjoy themselves. I don't like that. How dare they? And that's really the only reason to have any concern about other people's business, and that's not a legitimate reason in my view. In my view. And my view is a legitimate view. My view is that you should mind your own business. And is it anything really to do with you? No. It is. Let people thrive. Let people thrive and let people do their thing and let people have a jolly happy time and let everyone in, unless they do something really objectionable and horrible that really does prevent other people. So basically, you should be tolerant and forgiving and lovely and generous and beneficent, except to people who are not lovely and generous and tolerant and beneficent, and in which case they should be shunned and avoided. But everyone else, if you want to let other people be happy, then yes. If you want to let people be very, very unhappy and cause them harm, then no. Easy. So that's easy. And that is my take on it. And oh, that's so naive. You poor pitiful fool. Well, I'm a mature person that's been around, and I am wise with my, yes, respect your elders. Somebody said, oh, you're probably older than me and you've got a lot of energy on one of my videos. It's like, well, I don't know how old you are, but burn! Like, I don't know how old you are, but saying you're definitely older than me, not knowing how old they are, not knowing how old I, it's like, how very dare you? How dare you? Just, I probably am older than you, though, because I'm older than everyone. I'm older than the wind. I'm older than the sky. I'm older than I am Doctor Who. Am I, though? I might be. Is that a real person? Obviously. Yeah. All right. So I don't know whether anybody's talking to me because everything's gone very, very quiet. But it just friends to really rest upon. Anyway, nobody's talking. Shame to the evil. Shame to them. Salem. Yes. Nobody was talking to me, so that's fine. So you were just listening. Either you shut off and went no, or you were listening intently and you agree with me. Yes. Ollie's older. Ollie's older than what? Ollie's older than me. That's true. Hello, Stephanie. That is true. So you were talking. Yeah, some people were talking, but it all went distant. Ollie's older than me. Ollie's older than Doctor Who then, isn't he? Ollie's the oldest person in the world. I don't think that would be very... Sorry, Ollie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yes. But, yeah. Sorry. Ollie's older what? Yeah, apostrophes are unnecessary. People can pass things. This is it, right? When you say something and people go, oh, well, and they're very, actually, I think you meant this. It's like, if you can understand what people are saying, then it's fine. Really fine. Unless they've set themselves up as a bastion of authority. If somebody is teaching other people what to do and they don't know it, then maybe if people are setting themselves up as an expert and they get it wrong, then you're allowed to go, actually. But otherwise, yeah, let it slide, really. So in those very specific circumstances, am I a hypocrite? Maybe. But so are a lot of other people. A lot of people are hypocrites, and that's the way of the world. And they just want to get their own way. And most of them are in politics. All of them. Anyway, so thank you very much for joining me. I possibly won't be doing one of these next week because I will be in Ireland, the north of Ireland. Some people call it Northern Ireland. Some people call it the north of Ireland. And I'm not going to say what's right because it's not for me to say, but it is in Ireland. I don't know why I'm saying Ireland. I just feel that Ireland. I just feel that the need to roll the R's. Anyway, thank you once again. Have a great time. I thank you very much. Arafingor, thank you very much. Everyone that's joined me, the older and the younger. Some people might be older than me, but I doubt it. Apart from the obvious people that have identified themselves. So, bye-bye. I will see you soon. I don't know what there is to film in Ireland, and I'm mainly going to be travelling and being in offices and rooms just talking rubbish. So I might not see much of the outside world. But have a good bank holiday to you. Anyone who has a bank holiday. And if you're in America, I don't think you do have bank holidays, but have a good day anyway. So, bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. 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 Bye. 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 Bye.